Vero. Um, uh, I will direct my question to Professor Ken. So we've been talking about domestic violence. We've looked at the definition, the different types, the causes, the consequences, and the effects on family. And now we were asking, why do uh, victims stay in a domestic violent and in an abusive relationship for so long? And how does our society treat victims of domestic violence? So what can you say? What advice and what is your take on this?
Okay. Let me first start by greeting everyone who is here, and also to accuse Tekla for bringing me in here. Because I think I got your invitation just 5 minutes to here. And I noticed that there's probably a gender imbalance here because there are more women here than men, something like that.
Because we are the abused. I'm kidding.
Domestic violence is not gender based.
Already, I'm very uncomfortable
sitting in front of
I'm very uncomfortable sitting in front of very seasoned women, to answer such a question. But on a very serious note, I think I'm coming in late, so you guys would have discussed a lot. But this is a very interesting topic, and it's a very serious societal problem. And I want to congratulate you for coming together to be able to brainstorm. And this is a very critical component of sociology, especially sociology and anthropology, picking out societal ills and discussing them to this kind of magnitude. And I urge you to continue and make even the group, even a larger group, and bring in more men, because I think otherwise we're going to be preaching to ourselves. I mean, you're going to be preaching to yourselves. We need men.
We have men in here.
I must say, okay.
Maybe many of the men were invited and they didn't want to come.
Okay. Oh, there are men here. Good day, sir. Good to see you, sir. Okay, great. Yeah.
There are many men here. Maybe.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. I would like to say that the issue of domestic violence is a major public health problem. I like to say that. I've been opportune to be part-time teaching women and gender studies in University of Buea. And I noticed that this is a very serious, when I say public health problem, not just a social problem, but public health, because of the mental health issues that this elicit on that. And very much women are so vulnerable to it. That means if you look at the dynamics of it in terms of statistics, you realize that more women are in abusive relationship than men, so to speak. So it's very critical issue. One of the things I would like to say is that there is generally masking effect. I know you've discussed the causes, and the causes, short-term, long-term causes, solutions, long-term, short-term solutions, and all that. Yeah, we're not going to go into that, but if we have time, we can delve into this, and I can share experiences on that, which I call them experiences are classified as vignettes. I would like that you treat this as vignettes. That means you take case studies. If we can take 100 case studies, we analyze them. Probably at the end of the day, in such meetings, we should be able to come up with some fundamental solutions that could be critical for implementation. I would say there is masking effect. What is masking effect? There is what I was teaching students called gender masking effect. That means there is a certain level where, although you claim to know each other, but you still have some hidden facts about the man and the woman, and especially the men. There's masking effect on the men. A lot of things are hidden that you begin to realize, the woman begin to realize these things when they are under one roof. So during courting, you don't really seem to see some of these issues that men hide, and we call that phenomenon gender masking effect. So if we can debunk that gender masking effect within period of courtship or when everything seems jolly, then we'll begin to understand that this mask would be, some of the causes, the inherent causes of this gender abuse or, women abuse later on in their marital life. So that issue of gender effect. And then the issue I also like to discuss as a course is also, I know you've talked about finances and all that, but I would really crave your indulgence to discuss this within the Afrocentric point of view. We are all Africans. I would like for us to understand that even though you are in diaspora, but we are all Africans. If we look at our traditions in Africa, and I call them Afrocentric traditions in Africa, they really respect values, they respect norms. And at the same time, they respect women, although there's that patriarchal tendency, but the respect for women is there. So I always still say this, and Tekla, that when we talked about the Berlin, is it the, when they had the women's conference, was it in China some time ago, many years ago?
Beijing.
What was that conference about?
Beijing conference.
Sorry, Beijing. When they were talking about the
Beijing.
Beijing conference and women went there, yes, it was a good idea, but African women had no agenda there in solving this problem because they forgot that they had a culture. We have a certain culture in Africa, and that culture for most of our tribes is very peaceful and also respects women. So we need to discuss this and go back. And that brings me to solutions. How do we, profile these solutions? We need to also look at our culture. There are solutions within our culture. I like the fact one of the colleagues said here that even though you go to social insurance and all that, the solution lies between the couples coming together. A lot of men, when they are in that their terrible state, they wouldn't really give a good listening ear to the woman. I don't know if you have encountered this. This is kind of bravado. The bravado is there, especially when they are really into that peak of abuse. They won't want to listen. How would you bring in dialogue? Where do you bring in that dialogue? I still want to bring in the role of the in-laws, the parents, the two parents, the two in-laws, the two families together. That is African. I rest my case. I could say other things based on our experiences, but I rest my case there. But I like for us to bring the attention that when we're discussing, let's look at Afrocentric cultures. Thank you. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Prof. I know that we are in the course, you will still come up with, help us to come up with recommendations and solutions to how we can handle these.
What is that?
Was a hand up on this?
No.
Media is because your hand is okay, bring it down. So my next question goes to you, Mrs. Mildred Tata. How can we prevent domestic violence from happening, especially in our community? How?
Okay, Madam Moderator, thank you once more. What we are trying to change, because a woman has certain biological responsibility in terms of bringing us all forth here, right? Because of that, there are certain handicaps which evolve over a period of time. These handicaps have been exploited too harshly in many societies, almost everywhere, but not everybody, but everywhere it happens. In some places, it has religious backing. In some places, it is a free enterprise to dominate and exploit a woman. Individuals, people will always do this. It's not just a woman. Individuals, people, exploit anybody. Let's take an example. In school, we beat our juniors. Why? Because they are smaller than us. We have children when they are small, we beat them. If you have a boy of, let's say, less than 10, you beat. You can slap at any time. When that boy reaches from 20, 30, can you, the mother or father, beat? Of course not, because we know the consequences. A situation once happened where a father wanted to beat his son. And the son put up the hand when the father was coming in anger and blocked the father. The man fell down. And the cry was, he has beaten the father, but the boy was standing and fuming in anger. All is women are the weaker sex, in quotes. Physically, they don't have the power. And that abuse is so manifest in them. How can we solve this? Be a role model. How do you be how are we going to solve this problem? Or how can we avoid this? Or how can we stop it? Let's be our role models to our children. The way you treat your wife, you have your son there looking at you. The way you treat your husband, your daughters are there watching. I may want to answer going to this problem of promote healthy relationship in families. Father, mother, children relationship. A home where there is love. We see violence is minimized. Domestic violence is minimized. A home where there is no love, there is violence. And those children growing in that situation, believe me, 95% of those children may end up being like that. Because children grow, that's the role model. They see what is in them, around them, and they want to copy. And it's unfortunate. I'm sure it's human weakness. We quickly copy bad things more than good things. Secondly, how do we solve this problem? Domestic violence. I think financially, sometimes when some men, they feel they are the breadwinners, they do everything. A woman can be twisted up and down. Whatever a man says, you have to accept. And you cannot go against what he says. It's a problem. You are not a submissive woman. You are a nagging woman. You cannot contribute in a family. A man takes a decision and just tell you, you the woman, you just have to accept. But if the two had that financial backing, I think before meeting together, it was love that brought you people together. You could discuss in your courtship, say this, I wanted this. The man will try to provide. I want that this should be like this, he will listen. If being together financially, we are up, I can give a saying because I have. You give a saying because you have. And we do things together. But if it comes to a point where it will be like dictating to a woman, at one moment, you see, it's like a father and a daughter. It's no more father and a husband and a wife. But when you take a partner as you are equal, that domestic violence is reduced. You look your partner as an equal, no matter your status in the society. Because if you agree to come together with her, you didn't look at your status. There are some that even got married when their wives had nothing and they brought them up to a certain level, meaning that you accepted her And you, and also the women, there's some women also that they had the means and they were able to bring up their husbands to a certain level, educational wise. It means there was love. And when that love is absent, that is the cause. Another point, how can we try to avoid all these problems? Marriage counseling. Before getting married, churches, they come together, they say, we have to do some counseling, talk to you people. You have witnesses. Yes, I'm a witness to this wedding. In case of crisis, do you people go to those witnesses? Or we just turn and pick people because they are just friends and tomorrow they are off? When you people have a problem, is it only the woman who goes and bring a family? You, the man, what do? We look at elderly people. If you want peace, if you love your home, and we sit and discuss, not in tension, but peacefully, because there's nobody who is perfect. In a relationship, if things are going bad, it means I've hurt you, you've hurt me, and we want a solution. So we should look if we cannot. It is not talking to small friends around that they will take, but for gossip. Do we go to our pastor? It's just counseling. They are not there to solve our problems because our problem lies between us. If we cannot, if you don't want to accept your errors, and if you're not ready to say, I am sorry to your partner, and you are sorry, something where we sit and discuss peacefully, not in anger. And not in anger, you tell me you are sorry. And I also say in anger, I am sorry. And that is to solve a problem. No. It's when we sit and we are talking, I realize, and there's a weakness in men. It's like a shame or a taboo for a man to tell a woman, I am sorry. They say it's a pride of an African man. No. No. We have to. We have to. Another way to solve this domestic violence is like seminars, meetings, as we're meeting, to talk about it. Because there's some people that they do the act, and to them it is normal. But when we start talking out, and they also listen, I think it can ring a bell, be it a man or a woman. Let's talk it out. I earlier said, domestic violence doesn't start in a day. It may be from the first day of marriage. Yes, both families, the interaction, the problems that were there, that they bring you to the man or to the woman. We keep saying, no, it's just a small problem. It's a small problem. And tomorrow, when it is beyond control, it starts manifesting. How do we go about it? Hit the iron while it is still hot. Hit the iron while it is still hot. And once there was a retreat when I was still in college. There's one Reverend Father who said, the way a couple should live to avoid problems is you, the woman, take your wife, family, as that is, relate with them. If the wife's family have a problem, they come to you. to me. And if the husband's family is having a problem, they go to the wife. Now, in that sense, when you are coming, is it my in-laws? They are meeting my husband who say, no, go and meet my wife. She's the one responsible for those things. My family, I say no, if we are really honest to ourselves, it reduces backbiting. Because my family want to talk to me, I say no. If there's anything, even if it's money, we do our things together. Meet my husband, he knows how to solve it. My husband's family, I do same with love. And when the two families realize that the two of you are united and there is no way you can cajole another one behind, there will be unity. But when you are that type, where you want to treat your family problems quietly behind, you want to show them that, yes, I can do this, and a woman this way, when you hear he has spent there, you are angry. He hears you have spent there, you are angry. Those are the conflicts, not caused by the two of you, but caused by the family. So families and friends, because one of the causes of domestic violence is from family and friends. If we can know how to handle families and friends, family, friends, our own family, we can avoid domestic violence. I think I will stop here while we continue before I can come back again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mildred. I see you raised a lot of points. Role modeling, empowering a woman or a man to be financially independent, taking your partner as equal, seeking counseling, education, and enlightening and outlining clear duties on who does what in the family could really help to make a family better and prevent domestic violence. Thank you very much. I'm going to give the floor to Celestine to share her own opinions. Over to you, Celestine.
Thank you, lady, and I greet everyone in the house. I'm sorry to be late also, and a lot has. I really admire and enjoy the sharing of ideas. It's a very rich topic, and my sister Mildred has really given some beautiful inputs that I will not repeat some of the points that I wanted to share, but I will just go on. One aspect that I think can resolve DV, domestic violence, is I think couples need to pay attention on certain aspects and attitudes within the house, because if we pay attention to one another, especially when it concerns communication.
Don't come and disturb me.
I know we've spoken about miscommunication or communication and communication, because those are the areas that start provoking anger and people feel hurt or disrespected in the house, and the man will feel his ego has been trampled upon, and that's something that the woman must nurture. It's a must. Be it a white or a black man, men have their ego and they always want to be kept up there. So once they feel that it has gone down, no matter what you are doing, it doesn't matter any longer to them, and you start seeing some of those signs. And no matter what good intention you have, the man will not even listen to you. So I just think that we have to really learn how to pay attention so that we don't hurt these feelings of our spouses and come up with consequences that some of us will either find ourselves in a psychiatric home or dead, or an ankle broken. My aunt died 2 years ago, and she was blind since when I was young. As a baby, I grew up knew she was blind. I did not know what happened. And sometime when I was in secondary school, my mom told me she's blind because she was beaten by the husband. I said, really? A man will get angry and beat the wife, and then the wife is blind. Where is a man? The man abandoned the blind woman and went and got married to another woman. So she was suffering like that, being taken care of by the church and some friends and family. So more often it's the women who are suffering. So when I say we should pay attention and start studying these signs and take precaution before they lead to such unwanted consequences, it will be really good. So some people actually, some marriage break up because of suspicion. And the man did not pay attention when the woman was speaking to her, or the woman did not pay attention when the man was talking. And at the end, when they are separated, you see, I did not know, but you did not pay enough attention. You did not pay attention to, I am suspecting my wife or husband that they are dating another person, or they are not paying so much, they are not at home, or they are going outside doing one thing. I mean, we just need to understand and accept the weaknesses of our partners, and pay attention to the signs. When the signs come up, it's better you just go your separate ways, and you solve your someone being dead, or kids having this traumatized parenthood and all. I mean, it will be a good thing for us to pay attention and to communicate clearly. So I will leave it at that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Celestine. I'm gonna give the floor to Banjika, and after Banjika, we can listen to Walter.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lady Tse. I hope everyone can hear me. I see so many new faces here. For those who don't know me, I'm Banjika Ngo, the outgoing president of Full Europe. And I think before I go to make my points, I really want to thank everyone, especially the ladies who was actually, since we started having this conversation, has actually spoken out, right? Come to talk about this and push the community to sit and talk about it, because without their voices, we can recognize this and talk about it. And I think definitely it's already a painful experience for whoever is suffering it, be it the lady or be it the man. But being able to speak about it so that we should come together as a community and just have a conversation how we can support those who are in need. And then how I think the key thing which Bele Sonki did point out earlier was preventing it before it starts. And at this point, we are talking about how do we how can we manage domestic violence in such a way that we stop it before it happens? I think in the discussions that we were having, one of the key reasons that came up was, the upbringing that we have, maybe that we have, because for those who are, okay, I'm thinking now of those who maybe are not married, the young ones who will be getting married, because those who are already in it, okay, there are different, it's a complete different situation. But if you want to stop it before it happens, so when we look at how the boys are, someone said that boys are liberated, right? So parents put a blind eye, maybe the boy has this girlfriend today, the next day after a year or two, it's a different one. It seems like they ignore it, right? So, but the girls are protected and being brought up to be wives of tomorrow. But to marry which kind of boys, right? If we think of a society where the boys are liberated to be whatever they want to be and do everything they want to do, maybe it's very likely that they will take that into their marriage home. And then it leads to what? More problems. Some of it starts because maybe the boy is, a man is married and then he's having another wife or another lady outside. So it starts bringing problems. So I'm just driving on the fact that for parents, I think we have to say about role modeling. So maybe it goes that apart from being role models, I think the right kind of instructions are required to be passed, not just for the girls, like being a good wife and everything, but also I think that's a part that is highly neglected of bringing up boys to grow up and be men, right? And responsible fathers. I think that is a very lacking part in our society because we always have seminars for ladies and everything. But what about the boy child? And the other thing also is how can we stop it before it happens? I think there is, I posted something from Ecclesiastes 6, 7, 8, which says that if you were to have a friend, prove him first. We have said that a lot of have been said here that sometimes relation starts for the wrong reasons, and maybe marriage is such an important aspect in our lives, and if it has to be, I think if someone has to get into it, there should be really enough investment of time before getting into it. Because someone said that if you marry your friend, or if you marry someone who really sees you as a partner and as a friend, it's very likely that that person won't turn around and abuse you, right? So maybe for those not married and for those growing, the key thing is people may marry you for an occasion, right? A man may see you as someone who is definitely good as a housewife, right? You can be able to have children for him in that case where he sees that way. And maybe you don't even know why you are getting into it. And in the society of today where ladies are also very empowered and are capable, there are some men who are just maybe lazy. So they'll see a beautiful lady, she has a good career, she's earning enough, and this man may come and sweet talk you over thinking that, and you may think that it's really marriage, and then you get into such a relationship, and then later on you only start realizing the abuse when you are already in it. And we've said a lot, and I think even if we say this and we're moving out of here today, it's still very difficult for ladies based on the society where we come from, where tradition requires that if you are given in marriage, the question of you living out is almost very difficult. So I think enough of energy and enough of time have to be given by those who want to get married to really ask the right questions. Have you really proven this friend to be the person that calling a friend that will lead you, that you will live with, from start to end? So so that you don't end up with a wrong kind of relationship. So I think that's one area that I think that people really have. That is then you are putting in that aspect of preventing it before it even starts. So that is what I have there. So for us as a community now, looking at that, I think every case is unique, right? There is, I think one thing that has been happening is that I've noticed in the discussion is when someone brings out that a woman is abused, and someone quote another case where a man is abused, and then it's like it balances up. But I think care has been given to say that every case is unique. And I think I know that we have talked a lot here about what is happening to women, but let me just give an example of what I heard about a man, right, who was seriously abused, and all he had to do was one day he came to his house, took his keys, he took nothing. That's basically nothing. He just left his house where he was staying with the wife and kids and went and rented a different house with nothing. He only took his keys and left that house, right, in a complete different area, and started life. And his reasons were maybe the wife was completely very difficult, right? So that is another story of abuse, maybe from the man's side, where a man just had to abandon the family that he's living with and then go and start. So those are cases that are unique. So when we hear about be it domestic violence or be it abuse, I think we should listen carefully to each unique case and try to understand it and treat it as it is, not trying to give other examples as if we are trying to counteract that it's now balanced. So there shouldn't be any reason to complain. That's what I would really say here. And thank everyone again for your contributions, Lady Over. You're on mute.
Thank you, Prezi. Over to you, Walters.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. What I have not yet heard from the previous speakers, but though I congratulate them and I thank them very much for their wonderful contributions towards how we could mitigate this rising phenomenon, is legislature. I think our legislators really have to do a lot of work towards introducing laws and implementing those laws that will hold people accountable who are guilty of abuse and violence in marital homes.
Walter, just to interrupt, we have a lawyer in the house and she was going to cover this aspect in
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, thank you. Well, we look forward to hearing from him or her when the time comes. Maybe it's going to expand more on it and even make us very aware. We would like to also say that we want to get a lot of non-governmental organizations that will go about sensitization. We want to have our parents, especially our mothers. You know, sons love their mothers a lot and they will care to listen to their mothers. Though we are saying that all the children should have conversational time with their parents. I have an example of an aunt whom I love so much, my father's cousin, who has been a very, very, very powerful advocate for my mom, because she even knew my mom before. My mom ever got married to my father when my mom was still in the nursing school in Banso Baptist Hospital. They knew themselves then. She always told us, the men or the boys, be careful as you guys get into marriage, don't treat somebody's daughter the way you will not want somebody to treat your sister. I, as a mother, if I sit here and realize that you've done something wrong to somebody's daughter and I don't talk to you and I don't stand against that to protect that lady, I am exposing your sisters to the same danger. I will never accept that you abuse somebody's daughter. I will never. That's what my aunt usually said. What do we tell our children? What do we tell especially our sons? I tell my son every day, I have one son, take care of your sisters in school. Let nobody bully them. Let nobody beat them. Tell the teacher, tell us, protect them. I want you to protect them. I tell my boy all the time. I also have time to tell the girl, know that this is your brother, and anybody that stands against them or anybody that abuses them, tell us, tell the teacher. Let's educate our children. Let's also educate these men. Let's send our children to school, especially our girl children. Like some parents already tell them, your education, your job is your first husband. We should let them know that it is not because some flamboyant man comes and stands in front of you that makes him your husband. We women, our daughters should not be too desperate for husbands. Our parents should, yes, it's a good thing to have your children get married, but let it not be like some kind of disgrace that your daughters are around you that are not married, because it is that phenomenon that has made a lot of our sisters, a lot of our daughters get married to the wrong marriages. They get married to the wrong people, even with signals around that this is a bad man. They still go just because they want to also carry the name that they are Mrs., they are Madame this. That has pushed them to get into risky relationships that have costed their lives. So if we have this sensitization to let people know that if you get married, fine. If you don't get married, fine. People will not get into wrong marriages and begin to suffer violence in such situations. So let's look at it from these angles and see whether we can move an inch into mitigating violence. And if our men start having consequences for their actions, let the department or Ministry of Social Affairs give a lot of funding in that ministry that will take care of children from such a broken relationship, because I know one of the things that make them to stay in such relation and suffer and die is because sometimes people think of, if I go away with their children now, how am I going to survive with them? Yes, he was the one, he was a breadwinner. Yeah, he was a breadwinner, but how was he winning the bread? How was he using the bread that he won or he got? Most of them, they were working, but then how were they even putting the salary that they made on those children. A lot of them do not do much. They use the money with other women out there and then come and beat the subservient one in the house. Every day abuse, they go get drunk, come back and fight. Every day get drunk, come and fight. That is the only thing. So if we have funding where if somebody abuses, they take away the woman and the children, and there is some allowance coming into them, take care of them in their own corner, and the man be put aside, I think that would go a long way to mitigate violence. When somebody thinks of such consequences, you will be aware of how you treat your wife and children. I know back in Kumbu, long ago when I was there, I learned sometime that those who get drunk and come to their house and harass their wives, they were being sent a live plant in an envelope, and that's a sign of invitation to the palace, and they'll be taught how to behave well in their homes. If we can bring back such traditional rules, I think is going to mitigate. I think my stay out there, I've not really seen a lot of men behave like that, like so recklessly like elsewhere. Thank you.